So welcome and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So the first thing you notice is I'm not Rabbi Klein, so although we both have a gray beard. But I'll be, it's my honor tonight to be leading the service with Cantor Clissold and our president Wayne Hallard and Evan Courtney, our organist. So it's great to be here with all of you. And I'd like to start with the opening song on page 128, Ma Yafeh Hayom.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
So I'd like to call Nancy and Peter Zaslow to do the candles and Kiddush.
So our votive that we pre-light just went out. So there is one match, okay, left, okay? So I think you guys, right, know how to, okay, right, nobody smokes anymore, so. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kivashanu mitzvotov v'tzivanu v'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all work of creation that God had done.
Hold up the cup. Okay, Peter holds the cup.
Peter, hold the
You
other
get the other
cup.
one? Okay. You don't have to sing.
Okay.
Okay, but you can.
Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron b'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'tanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim?
L'chaim.
Okay.
L'chaim.
And that's it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay?
We did it with one match. Amazing people here.
Okay, please turn to page 146 for Baruch Hu and Rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai, Amen.
seated. And on the top of page 149, let's read together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv ha'ravim. And I'm going to read on the bottom of page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works in the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Please rise for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל מצוותיי ויתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let's go to the top of page, or to page 159, and read together. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, as earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נראתי לו תוסף אלם, נראתי לו תוסף אלם. מלכותך רבניך, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זהילינו ואמרו, זהילינו ואמרו.
Does anyone know what that is? What from? It's an Israeli dance, right? Peggy's going to demonstrate it. It's called the Mizerlu. Yeah, right? Okay, I know, I love it too, but that's it. Jay, I offered that he would do the dancing, but he said, Peggy would
I
do it.
don't know that one. Okay.
We're going to continue on page 162 with our singing of Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'azot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'azot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Meini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. U'bayom hashmi Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam.
Okay. Please rise for the Amidah on page 164. Pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you.
All right.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi hagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Ha'yivor v'Hanora, El Hayom, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zoher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshe Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, D'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor L'olam Adonai, Michaye Kol atah, Rav L'Hoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim V'Chesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim D'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bal Givurot, Umida Melech, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman Atah L'Chayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Let's read together on the top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Ratzei Adonai Eloheinu, be'amecha Yisrael, u'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel, Tamid Avodot Yisrael. Yisrael Amecha. Ekarov lechol ha'av b'nei avadecha v'chaneinu. Shefach ruchacha aleinu. ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון. ברחמים ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון.
Let's read together on the top of page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shemcha u'lecha noeh lehodot.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim La'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim La'olam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. B'tov b'nei בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Please take a few moments to pray privately, to think about the goodness of where we all are, and think thoughts that will help you in today and in the week to come.
Adonai tzuri vegoali. Adonai tzuri vegoali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Yehu l'ratzon imrefi ve'yon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri ve'goali. Adonai tzuri ve'goali.
Please rise for the Torah service. Starts on page 364.
Susharim Rosheichem V'chinasu Pithchei Olam V'yavo Melech HaKavod Mehu ze Melech HaKavod Adonai Tzvaot U'Melech HaKavod בשמיים ובארץ, יכל בשמיים ובארץ, Lecha Adonai Hamalacha V'nigasi Lechol Rosh Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Ha'olam Olim.
Okay. I'd like to invite Marcy Racklin to come up for the Aliyah tonight.
You push it up, in, and then, there you go.
There you go. That's the hardest part.
No, other things could happen. So, the Torah portion is from Tetzaveh, and it can be found, I think it's worth saying, on page 618 of the Red Torah commentary. Now, why is it good for me to tell you the page number tonight? 618? Does it ring a bell? What? 13? It's close to the amount of bits? All right, I was excited about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, I'll have another number fact to teach you later that Jay talked us. But Marcy, we invite you to do the blessing.
Okay. Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu b'kol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Are you going to read it?
No.
Jay said you were reading. Okay. Ve'atah titzaveh et b'nei Yisrael v'yichu elecha shemen zayit zach katid lamaor ve'ha'alot ner tamid be'ohel moed michutz laparochet asher al haidut yaroch oto Aharon uvanav me'erev ad boker lifnei Adonai chukat olam ledorotam me'ei b'nei Yisrael V'ata hakrev elecha et Aharon achicha v'et banav ito mitoch b'nei Yisrael v'hachanolim Aharon Nadav Avihu Elazar v'Tamar b'nei Aharon Asita vigdei kodesh laharon achicha lechavod ultifaret v'ata tidaber et kol hochmei lev Asher miletiv ruach choma vasu et bigdei Aharon lekadsho lehachanoli.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'hayei olam nata b'tokenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Great job, Marcy.
Thank you. Okay.
Please rise.
V'zot ha'Torah sher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael api Adonai miyad Moshe. V'zot ha'Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael api Adonai miyad Moshe. Lai 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 lai
So we stand for Misha Berach, for those in need of healing, and I'm going to ask if there are any names that we're holding with us tonight.
Sandra Jessup.
And these names are members of our congregation: Rabbi Robert Orak, James Appio, Vicky Bernstein, Glenn Cohen, Nancy Baskin, Steve Goldsmith, Doreen Lapperton Addison, Martha Brandween, Walter McWilliams, Martin Gale, Lindsay Abronitis Smith, and Claire Heidemann.
We pray together on page 371, our prayer of healing, Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Deimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Deimotenu. For those in need of healing, with refuah shalema, the renewal of the body, the renewal of the spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We continue on page 374.
Yitzchayimi lamachazikeba v'tomechecha me'ushar derachecha darchenom v'chol netivotecha shalom. Ashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Amenu kekedem Chadesh Amenu kekedem.
Must have stirred up the dust a little.
Please be seated. So we just read from the Torah portion Titzaveh, and in this portion we heard about the eternal light, the Ner Tamid, Aaron and his sons who were chosen and ordained as priests, and instructions are given to make special clothing for the priests. The entirety of the discussion of the eternal light is 2 verses. Rabbi Lauren Lapidus, commenting on this section of the parasha, notes that the Ner Tamid does not magically happen. It is a communal responsibility. She continues that the Israelites worked together to prepare the oil and ensure an adequate supply. Thus, the Ner Tamid is a symbol of the power of community, for it is through our connections to one another and our willingness to work together that we're able to bring the light of God's presence into our midst. Even though our Ner Tamids are now electric, as is the one at MRT, when we look at this light, we should be filled with a sense that we should be responsible for this light, for enthusiastically bringing holiness and blessing into the world. Moving to the next part of the Torah portion, we're given details of the priestly vestments to be made for Aaron and his sons, which include fine yarns and linen, engraved stones, precious metals and gemstones, and more. Where do these precious materials come from? As in the construction of the tabernacle in the preceding sections, presumably the materials for the vestments are again given by the people. Those who are skillful make the garments, and again, the community must participate to make all of this happen. Rabbi Hilly Haber, writing in this week's 10 Minutes of Torah commentary from the URJ, relates this portion to a theology of ecosystems and interconnections. When the Israelites are living in difficult wilderness surroundings, he notes that the key verb employed in this parsha is lekadesh, to sanctify. Its concern is with uplifting of the mundane. Parshat Tetzaveh narrates the process by which natural resources, people, and places are elevated and made sacred, rather than exploited, degraded, abandoned, or cast out. This embraces the theology of ecosystems and interconnections, one which imbues resources, people, and places with sacred meaning and worth. By the way, a nice definition of ecosystems is a geographic area where plants, animals, and other organisms, as well as weather and landscape, work together to form a bubble of life. A bubble of life and interconnections indeed. In both of these teachings, we learn about community and sacredness. The eternal light is a community responsibility. The creation of the priestly vestments and the resources needed for it is a community responsibility. Our world is a world of ecosystems and interconnections. Everything is connected, and everything affects every other thing and every other one. I like the notion of ecosystems and interconnections. So there are so many directions I could go from here, but I'll choose one related to climate change. Let me quote from Midrash. When God created the first human, God took him and led him around all the trees of the Garden of Eden and said to him, "Look at my works, how beautiful and praiseworthy they are. And all that I have created for you. Pay attention that you do not corrupt and destroy my world, for if you corrupt it, there is no one to repair it after you." There's overwhelming evidence that the climate of our world has been rapidly changing and that this has been caused by human activities, with a change in a direction that is mostly disadvantageous for humanity. The problem is enormous. You can see how this is manifested in New Jersey. While we're not experiencing extreme drought and wildfires, we are seeing the consequences of flooding from sea level rise and increasingly intense storms. These consequences are borne first by disadvantaged communities, which have the least resources to adapt to a changing climate. Hurricane Ida demonstrated lower wealth towns like Manville, for example. In places near our ports and shipping hubs, such as Elizabeth and Newark, the continued use and potential expansion of fossil fuels in those locations not only increases the stimulus for climate change, but affects the communities on the ground with poor air quality and higher local temperatures, increasing the incidence of asthma-related and cardiovascular diseases there. Recent studies have also shown that the air quality leads to problems in pregnancy outcomes there. As our ecosystems are stressed, we must consider the equity of our solutions, that is, environmental justice. How we take care of all of us, for we are all interconnected. What affects our bubble of life will affect us all. Natural resources, people, and places must be elevated and made sacred. Now, humanity has come together on a problem of this sort before, although admittedly on a much smaller scale. Remember the ozone hole near the South Pole, which was observed in the 1970s and threatened an increase in cancer cases because of the increased level of ultraviolet radiation that began to reach the surface of the Earth. International collective action in the late 1980s banned certain chemicals used in refrigerants and aerosols that had been depleting the atmospheric ozone. This collective action effectively shrank the size of the ozone hole and has begun restoring the atmospheric ozone concentration. So we are capable of collective action. As for climate change, there are no silver bullets that will rapidly undo the changes of the last century. There are many things that must be done together on a scale that involves all of us, including changing our power sources and heating systems to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and changing agricultural goals and techniques. My point here is to note that our ecosystems are changing, the world is in danger of being corrupted, and by our interconnections in our bubble of life, we are all affected, and we must also all act together. So let's move forward considering our ecosystems and interconnections, and imbue resources, people, and places with sacred meaning and worth. With our community and the larger community of communities, let us repair God's work and ultimate tikkun olam, repair of the world with which we've been charged. So, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. So Jay taught me something this week. I feel like you really held back on me. All these years you could have taught me this trick. So the next prayer that we're going to do is the Aleinu prayer on page 586. And he always remembers the Aleinu prayer on 586 very easily because he remembers that that was the destruction of the first temple that year. And so he remembers that. And now I feel like I will now always remember that, and maybe you will always remember that. So thank you, Jay. You always teach me something. So we continue. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We continue on page 595.
There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we love, their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו בינם. יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו. אורות אלה המפיקים בחשכת הליל, הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, as we live our days. These are the ways we remember.
We turn to Kaddish on page 598. Are there any yortzites being remembered this week? Want to bring by name? The members of our congregation, our yortzite list is, we have also Isidore Abramowitz, Sarah Brightman, Marcia Burstein, Harmon Butler, Jill L. Butler, Martin Cole, Lynn Sternberg Donlin, Henrietta A. Figus, Charles Feldman, Henry Gans, Gladys Goldberg Daly, Joyce Henkin, Beatrice Hertz, David Allen Klein, Rita Kravitz, Eva Rotman Light, Rose Littman, Beverly Mora, Bernard Mausner, Elsie Mazzarella, Robert Misch, Milton Morris, Solomon Rems, Benjamin Rothman, Bob Rosen, Robert Salomon, Henry Schwartzman, Samuel D. Shagan, Ruth Stone, Samuel Taxel, Matilda Tell, Ian Tomlinson, Rose Tiplitz, Rebecca Wagner, Charles Wallerstein, Shirley Weiser. We were in Shloshim for Irma Meyer, Rabbi Cy Dressner, Mark Alexander, Marcia Zeisel. Is there any other Shloshim being observed? Or any Shiva this week? Okay, the Kaddish is on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yomad v'yivrach cherutei, v'yomlech malchutei, v'chayechon v'yom echon, v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agola v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach, v'yolam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudashah brichu. Le'ila min kol birata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran v'yomah v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemayim. V'hayim oleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Uyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oh, say shalom b'mromav, uyaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
And our closing song for tonight is on page
635.
635, Yom Zeh L'Yisrael.
And so on Yom Zeh Yisrael, what I forget, John? I don't know what he's saying.
Before we close,
The announcements. Okay, okay.
Sorry,
All right,
Mr.
sorry.
President.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Wayne, we're skipping your big part.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm
Shabbat
Wayne Hallard,
Shalom.
and on behalf of Monmouth Reformed Temple, I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us tonight, both in the sanctuary via live stream. We have some announcements for this evening. Join us for the following upcoming events. More information can be found in the weekly e-blast. Torah study tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Save the date, Thursday, February 24th, for the adult ed program on Zoom entitled Film Shul, straight out of Brooklyn, RSVP by February 22nd. Sisterhood has a couple of upcoming events. There will be a virtual dessert, drink, and trivia game night on February 16th at 7:30. Then they are hosting a Zumintosh baking party February 27th at 3 p.m. You can also purchase your Shlach Manot message to be sent to the entire congregation. Our next visual workshop service will be on Friday, February 25th at 7 p.m. Our February Tzedakah collection is supporting the Jewish Heritage Museum of Monmouth County. The museum connects Jews to their heritage and presents exhibits, programs, and publications that celebrate, preserve, explore, and illustrate the rich and unique history of the Jewish residents of Monmouth County and its vicinity, and their contributions to the larger community. Dean Ross and Alice Berman will match this month's Tzedakah donations. For your protection, and the protection of our MRT family, please stay home if you feel sick or believe you have been exposed to COVID. Our synagogue continues to engage together in meaningful ways. We would love for more people to invest in our mission of helping others and connecting as a Jewish community. We welcome your investment and gift to help us continue to grow. For information on joining our MRT family or making a donation, please contact Jordana Steinberg in our office or visit our website, www.monmouthreformedtemple.org. Rabbi and Cantor are always available as well. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm also looking for people who, if you'd like to be in the Purim Spiel, some of our regulars have left me high and dry, and I miss them very much. This could be, your opportunity. If any of you are interested and love the Wizard of Oz, that is the theme. So,
Okay.
what about it, Jay?
We'll have to think about that one.
So our closing song.
Okay.
This is one of, Jay picked this song. We haven't done it in a while. It's on page 634. And it's also a favorite of our congregation because it's called Yom Zeh Yisrael. And you have to, if you're willing, shout out the Yom, okay? And sometimes we have a contest and we see which side is louder at shouting the Yom. Yeah, okay. Now, I have Ellen. Okay? But I mean, you have a lot of strong people on this side, including, member of the choir back here. And Rabbi Prezand is very good at shouting out the Yom as well. So we'll just see who does a better job. But we join together. And I'll cue you. Equally, I won't make my side. We have less, but all right, here we go. Yom Zeh Yisrael hora v'simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Yom Zeh Yisrael hora v'simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Sivita pikudim b'amor har Sinai, Shabbat u'moadim nishmor b'chol shanai, aroch lefanai masid v'harucha, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Yom Zeh Yisrael ora v'simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Yom Zeh Yisrael ora v'simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Kidashta berakta v'kol ramim, v'sheshet kelita melechet olamim, omatzu agumim hashkedu v'hitna, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Yom Zeh Yisrael hora v'simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Yom Zeh Yisrael hora v'simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. I must say, everybody did quite well.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Okay, we have one more thing.
One more thing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. And thank you, Jay. You gave a very meaningful lead to our service and a beautiful sermon, and we love having you. Thank you very much.
Well, it's been my honor to be up here. Thank you, Cantor. Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you,
Evan.
Mr. Organist. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Please join us inside for the oneg if you wish to stay.